All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here, and I am giving you my solo review of the movie War. Now, War came out a few months ago. I believe it was October 2nd. There was one movie I really wanted to see that came out the same day as Joker, and I believe that was it. War is also the second trailer and second video ever that Boring Reviews did in the Indian cinema world. So Saho was the first, War was the second. I reacted to that trailer with Adam, and that was before we even realized about subtitles on the videos on YouTube. So we actually reacted to that trailer without knowing what was going on. And so when the movie came out, I thought it looked interesting from the trailer, but I didn't really know what it was about, so I wasn't as excited for it naturally. And then it came out, and I kept reading these articles and seeing these titles of articles about how well received it was in India and across the world and how much money it made. It's, I think, one of the top 10 box office films of all time from India. Obviously, it has our two leads, Hrithik Roshan and Tiger Shroff. This is not the first Tiger Shroff movie I saw. Obviously, I saw him in Baghi. I still have not seen the second or third one yet. They have not become available on the streaming services I have. Hrithik Roshan, we did a reaction to the Bang Bang song from the movie he was in. But this was my first film where he was in, and obviously the first film they both were in. So I was really excited because I know they're both big stars. Tiger Shroff, more of a younger, up-and-coming big star. Hrithik Roshan, more established, but they're both also excellent dancers, so I was really excited for the musical numbers and the dance numbers in this movie. And you know, they're both macho guys. I have still yet to see Super 30, which is another Hrithik Roshan film where I'm not sure if he's as jacked as he usually is. He seems like he's always in good shape, but then I also got a request to watch his transformation, so I'm sure it wasn't him going from fat to super buffed and super jacked, but I think he is in his 50s or close to it. And so he was pretty muscular, pretty beefed up in this film. So I'm sure the transformation was about him going from regular Hrithik Roshan to jacked. But both leads do not disappoint for the most part in this film. They both came in excellent shape. Tiger Shroff has always been in excellent shape since we've seen him in films, since Baghi, which was really his first leading role in a film. And so anyways, I was excited to check this film out. It was in the theaters here for a very short time, very, very short time, and I missed that window. A student at my school, JR, that I've mentioned before, JR Requests, she has seen it, and she's been asking me a million times, have I seen it, have I seen it? Well, I've seen it. And so I hope you enjoy this review, this honest review from Boring Land. If you are new to Boring Reviews, then we have all types of reviews and reactions. Go ahead and check them out. Some older movies, some current movies, and a whole lot of mixture there. I still want to get to Cholet and review that probably during this holiday season after Christmas, maybe before New Year's. So let's get into War. I'm going to start off with The Good. I've been watching a lot of reviews recently, and I really like these reviewers that start off with The Good. And since I don't have someone to bounce off my ideas for the movie, that's where I'm going to start off. So The Good. First of all, I love the soundtrack in this film. That's where I'm going to start off with, is the music. A lot of this film reminded me of the Mission Impossible series, just from the look of it and some of the story elements, plot devices, and also like a James Bond type thing. And so the music for those films are extremely important. And it was no different in this film. The music set a nice tone, do, something like that. And also had a nice laid-back tone at certain times, but it made it seem very fresh. And it made it seem very modern and very sleek. And really enhanced the experience of the movie. Like I said, the two leads, they did a great job. They do not disappoint. They were prepped and ready to go to be these two action stars. Their action scenes are top-notch. And the things I loved probably the most from these two guys is their musical numbers. They really brought it, which I was hoping they would, and they did. Their little dances, not their little dance, their awesome dance sequence and choreography was excellent. It's definitely worth the price of admission just to see those few dance numbers, especially the first two were my favorites. And I'm not sure if there was a third main one. Maybe there was only two, but those are the ones that stand out in my mind. Excellent job there. Great music, great writing, and obviously awesome dancing with the color and everything. It was fantastic. And it was also done in a way where it was very lighthearted, but I liked the way they made it lighthearted in this more of a serious type action film by having it kind of be where their minds are at in their wildest fantasies, basically, for these two characters who are still trying to fill each other out and figure out what's going on with Hrithik Roshan's character, Kabir, where he is the leader of this kind of smaller unit group who are almost like an anti-terrorist unit. And then Khalid, played by Shroff, who's a new guy who's got to prove his way. And Khalid's character, his father was a traitor who Kabir had hunted down and killed eons ago. And so that was kind of an interesting dynamic. And that brings me to something I really liked as well, is the story between these two characters and their development. They weren't best friends right off the bat. Khalid had to earn Kabir's trust and respect, and once he did, it was fantastic. I wish we would have got more of them together, working together, before things kind of go all awry in their relationship and their partnership. But that was still fantastic. And again, their action sequences together were top notch. And even though they were both jacked, I didn't feel like either one was invincible. They definitely had their weak moments where they were vulnerable. And that's something you've got to see in all characters. That's the biggest complaint with Superman, even though he's my favorite comic book character, that he's not vulnerable enough. These two guys were awesome, but they were also vulnerable. I also really enjoyed all the side characters. I enjoyed the Colonel guy. He was kind of annoying most of the time. I didn't trust him most of the time, but he did a great job in that role. I really liked the girl character. I don't know her name, but she's the one on their unit. She did a great job. She seemed like she belonged. She was tough enough, but she also provided a lot of information and helped out Kabir when he needed it. The little girl, Ruli, she did a great job. That young actress did a fantastic job portraying that character, and she actually seemed like someone of that age, 9 or 10. She was not a 9 or 10-year-old that was acting like a 3-year-old, and that's what you get a lot of times in movies, and it drives me crazy being a teacher and knowing what a 9 or a 10-year-old would act like, because I've had it in my class for so many years. They did a great job with the proper age range and the way that character would be. One of the characters that I was not a fan of, I'm not sure I'm ready for my things I did not like, but one of the characters I was not a fan of was Ruli's mom. I'm still kind of confused about what her role was, whether she was also a secret agent or not, why she was so mad at him for her not seeing her daughter. I must have missed it. I just finished the movie right now, so maybe at one point when they kind of got into that, I wasn't following along with the subtitles too well. I don't know if that's the truth, because I was following along with those subtitles like I have to. If I miss subtitles, I miss the movie. And so maybe the reason I don't like her too much is because it was confusing, but it didn't seem like she really did too much. She tried to do one thing where she was trying to get the drive in the computer, and she kind of fouled that up. Not sure if it's her fault, obviously, but she wasn't my favorite side character. I really liked the first half of this film a lot, way more than the second half. I like what they were building. I like what they were doing. Again, I like the dynamic of Kabir and Khalid and how they had to earn the respect for one another, how Khalid was able to see past his father being a traitor and Kabir killing his father to give honor to his country and perform his duty to his country. I really like the mom character of Khalid and their dynamic and how they both did not hold the government or hold Kabir responsible for his father and her husband's death. All of that was really good. I liked so much of the first half. It got me really excited, really engaged instantly. The one big old tall dude with he reminded me of an Indian Jason Momoa Aquaman. He looks so much like him. The guy they're fighting, in their first main mission together, where afterwards Kabir gets mad at Khalid because he knows this is his blind spot and it could have hurt people. When they were fighting the Jason Momoa guy, that was an awesome fight. I mean, this guy was a force, and this is one of those scenes where you have our two main leads who show weakness and vulnerability as they were both trying to take on this guy together, and they were having a hard time. And it was one point where they were both on the floor. Remind me of Ninja Turtles, actually. They're both on the floor like, you go, no, you go. And they're not saying those words, but they're looking at each other like, I don't want to do it. I'm exhausted. I'm getting my butt kicked. And so that was a really cool sequence. And Khalid in the car with the machine gun going through that they show you in the trailer, that was all great too. For me, the part where this movie really took a turn for the worst was near the beginning of the third act. Maybe it was past the third act, but they definitely past the 2/3 part of this movie, where we discovered that Khalid. Well, first of all, back up. Before that, they're chasing this main terrorist guy, this horrible, evil villain guy. I can't even remember what he was into as far as what his villainry trade was. But they're following this guy, Elijah, I think. And he keeps getting away from Kabir, played by Hrithik Roshan. And Roshan is obsessed. Kabir is obsessed with getting this guy, and they have this great plan in place, but he gets tipped off at the last minute, and they're going after him. And they find out later on, when that female character I was talking about that I didn't like, the agent character, Ruli's mom, she goes to put a drive into the computer of who she thinks is this other character, contractor, Feroz, contractor. They're trying to get information from his computer, and then Kabir finds out when that's happening that it's actually not contractor, it's this Elijah guy. This guy who's been chasing the whole time, so they got this plastic surgeon to change his face look just like this Feroz contractor guy, which to me, it just seemed very convenient. It didn't bother me too much since it was the main guy, because the main guy, for me, he was a typical bad villain. He did nothing for me. He didn't give any kind of fear or anything. He didn't even look that menacing. He had this crazy hair, and you got to brush that, buddy. But I didn't care too much for him at all. So they changed his face, whatever. That was a nice little twist there. Oh no, she's in danger, and unfortunately bad things happen to her because of it. But where this movie really took a turn for the worse is when we find out that Khalid, played by Tiger Shroff, who was Khalid through most of the film, that when he goes chasing one of this Elijah's guy's henchmen, and we assume that he defeated him and he's in the hospital, he's recovering, blah, blah. We assume all that. The part where this really goes bad is their reveal that he actually is this other character, the henchman of the bad guy, who they put him under plastic surgery as well. They killed Khalid, and they reconstructed the face of this guy. I can't remember how to say his name, Sarab or something like that. They reconstructed his face so he looks just like Khalid, but then they put these cosmetic skin tape things over his face so you couldn't see the scars. Laser his voice so he sounds just like. I mean, very, very convenient. And for me, I have so many problems with that, but I'm going to get to that in a second, because for those of you who have not seen the film, or maybe you have and you're shouting at your screen, you're missing a big part of the movie. I did not forget the big part of this movie. So Kabir is part of this government unit to fight terrorism and bad guys, and then all of a sudden he goes rogue, and he shoots one of their own guys, a guy that they are working for them, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's a bad guy, he's gone on his own, he's gone rogue. And so Khalid, and there's flashbacks and flash forwards, which is why it goes back and forth, and it sounds kind of out of place from the time. But Khalid, he's now hunting Kabir, and he still respects him, he still appreciates him, and he's trying to find it in him to hate him, and he's trying to force that. But he's hunting Kabir until he finds out that Kabir is actually hunting down almost like a mole unit for Elijah. He uses chess pieces, which I thought was really nice. He's got the rook, and he's got the bishop, and he's trying to figure out who's the pawn. Who is the pawn? And so as he's doing that, Khalid meets up with him and realizes, hey, actually not Khalid, it's fake Khalid, meets up with them and realizes, hey, this guy's actually not a bad guy. And so this is where that twist it was so frustrating, because once you find out that Khalid, the entire time, now that I'm thinking of it, that Kabir was a bad guy, Khalid was his other guy, pretending to be him, reconstructed face. Khalid was dead. This is the fake guy. And it just takes all of the stakes away. It takes all of the tension away of buddies being mad at each other. For me, myself, it undermines the whole relationship beforehand, because why do we care about this guy? This guy's a bad guy anyways. He's trying to pull a fast one and chase after this guy so he can eventually poison him with an alcoholic beverage and kill him, and, be able to succeed to do his master's bidding, so to speak. And then Kabir, we don't know about it yet, but he realizes that Khalid is this bad guy, and so he drinks the alcohol. But before that, because he's so smart, he realizes, because the guy was shooting and said, hey, there's no blind spot anymore, he gets an antidote from this other lady who's having a wedding, who's getting married, who offers herself to elope with Roshan, which is all craziness. Has an antidote so that he can drink the wine. For me, I just would not drink not the wine, but whatever, the alcohol, the brandy, whatever it is. I would just not drink it, and I would just fight fake Khalid right then and there, and not have to use the antidote and not risk my body dying and the antidote not working or me getting in time. All of that was just so wonky and so weird that it's not worth the twist of, oh, it's not Khalid, it's someone else. It's not worth the twist of him, haha, I'm pouring the drink, because for a few minutes, you're thinking Khalid's really bad. Oh, no, it's not Khalid. It's just, it was pointless in my opinion. It really undermined the film. It undermined the stakes, like I said, and it just turned into a good guy versus over-the-top bad guy. And I was getting really annoyed with Tiger Shroff's acting when he was the stereotypical villain. Like really evil guy. He kept doing this like, yeah, look, like he's the man. And Khalid was so not that. So it's just like complete opposite. I was getting really annoyed with that performance until near the end when he's fighting Kabir, where I started watching. I'm like, I'm kind of liking it. It's starting to grow on me, because he was like making these weird sounds and whatnot. And at that point, I was like, okay, this guy's just nuts. But getting to that twist again of fake Khalid, it just makes no sense, because when the real Khalid's fighting this guy before they kill Khalid and they take over and reconstruct his face, he's got a shirt on and a jacket on, but he does not look nearly as jacked as Khalid. So what, this guy just gets super buff, getting Tiger Shroff shape? I don't think so. This guy, he could barely even fight Khalid. When they finally caught up to one another and they start fighting, it lasts for about 30 seconds. Khalid tanks him down, and then this Malaysia guy shoots him and saves his henchman's life. And he says, oh, I'm so grateful. You're so awesome. Now I'm going to reward you with all this kind of stuff. It just, the whole twist just ruined everything. I wish they would have just taken the twist out and either had the two of them fight against this bad guy and the henchman, or had Khalid turn bad for some reason. I don't know. It wouldn't make sense, but the twist was just dumb. It wasn't worth it for me. It did not give me the payoff to be surprised for a few seconds. And I was surprised. I didn't see it coming. But the rest of the movie just didn't work. The last fight scene, or the car chase first, was just kind of okay. It was just kind of mediocre for me at the end when they're chasing each other. And then the last fight scene was pretty good. It was a good fight scene. I mean, they're stabbing each other a million times with rebar and knives and all these different things, and they're still going, they're still pushing, and then it just gets more and more ridiculous. I know this film is not based on reality. I get that. It's an action film, and there's so many action films that I've seen here in the, American films, Hollywood, where none of it makes sense. But it still kind of bothers me. That's why action films, for me, will never get like an A+ score, because it bothers me when it's so illogical. There's a part where Kabir is pushing Khalid off this platform in this kind of cool looking building that looks like it's under construction, wherever they were at. Pushes him off. It's about a 20-foot fall, and he falls back on his back, and he reacts like he broke his back, which I would believe that he did. And then Kabir is talking about, I want to destroy that face. So I was like, oh, he's going to rip the face off. He's going to scalp it, something like that. What is he going to do? Gets on this platform thing, and it's scaffold type thing. Gets on top of it, and then he takes his chain, and he jumps and pulls the scaffold behind him. And he's got this 20-foot fall, 30-foot fall himself. And I'm like, he's going to break his legs because he's just like, ah. But no, he just lands perfectly. The scaffold comes down, and it looks like it smashes Khalid's head, his face, which he carried out his promise that you're not going to die with that face. That's Khalid's face. And I'm like, yes, that was, yeah. My phone, which is my camera, it just fell down. So I picked it back up. Hopefully it's about centered where it was at. But anyways, it looks like the scaffold smashed fake Khalid's face. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then they show you a few seconds later, and no, it's just a metal rod hit his chest, and his face is perfectly fine. And then Kabir walks away, and just magically this big old dome like glass, huge, giant thing falls down. Still wanted to see that face get destroyed, but I was let down. And then, typical ending, happy ending, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out the Colonel the whole time that we assume is the bad guy in a mole, he's can be trusted and he's fine and whatnot. The ending was okay. But the twist really did not ruin the film for me, but really brought it down as far as the score goes and as far as my overall entertainment and enjoyment of this film. I can see why it was a big hit, especially the first half, but the second half, I'm curious, did that bother you guys? I don't know. I have not read any of the reviews on this. I know it was a big hit. I know a lot of people liked it. I know it was considered a critically acclaimed film as well. But, I mean, that twist, that last third of the movie, it really almost ruined it for me. And it not just the twist either. There's just so many things that became a cliche action film when the first 2/3 was not cliche, and there was a lot of cool elements and a lot of character development and story building and world building, which you don't typically get from an action film. So I want to know, how did you feel about the movie War? Did you absolutely love it? 100% love it? Did you love it because it was a big hit and you watched this, hey, yeah, it was pretty good? Or do you agree with me with that twist being pointless and not contributing, but kind of definitely taken away from the enjoyment and the overall scope of this film? I think it did, obviously. I talked about it for so long. So as far as the grade goes for War, I was so excited that this movie was finally available on Amazon. I say finally, it's only been 2 months. But it was available on Amazon. First, it was available in other territories, not here, but then it was available here earlier this week. So I was so excited to see it, and I'm glad I did. But I'm going to give War a solid B because I appreciate that they try to give us a twist. I love twists. In my book, The Legend of Sturgis Braha, that's not it. Sometimes it's over there. I have a twist as well at the end. I'm not sure if it's a great twist, but I think twists are great. And I love movies that have twists. This twist, it can't take away from the film, and it can't erase everything that happened in the film. And that's what this one did. And for me, it took a lot of the wind out of the sails, so to speak, in my enjoyment of the film. So a solid B. The lead actors are phenomenal. Their chemistry is great. I really hope to see these two in a movie again. I wouldn't mind seeing them going against each other, but I kind of liked their little bromance they had going on. I feel like Tiger Shroff really respects Hrithik Roshan, and why would he not? I mean, this guy has really helped pave the way for an actor like himself, who's a dancer and an actor and an action star and completely jacked. I mean, Tiger Shroff is, the reincarnation of Hrithik Roshan. So they did a great job. It was a really cool film, great music, great idea. And then they decided to do this twist, and for me, it brought it down a few notches. So there you have it. There's my review on War. I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope you enjoy all of them. I know you enjoy more when I have my friends here, but again, holiday season, they weren't going to be able to get to it. And I just finished watching it right before I started recording, and I want to get my thoughts out to you. And I know a lot of you guys, or a few of you at least, have been waiting for this review. Now, I do want to add, I forgot to mention that the sunglasses that Kabir wears at the very end when he's talking to the colonel about possibly next missions or whatever, those are the coolest sunglasses I've seen since Tom Cruise's in Top Gun from the 80s. I want a pair of those glasses. Those were awesome looking. They were unique in its own way. They were very reflective. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but those glasses are great. I want a pair. They're probably like $500. Who knows? But those are really cool. There's so many elements to this movie I really did like. And Hrithik Roshan, I mean, was that a sunburn that he had the entire movie or the last part of the movie? Because, I mean, you can see the outline of sunglasses and you can actually see redness. Does he always have that? I mean, is this guy... I mean, honestly, I thought it was interesting that he had a real-life sunburn and they just, oh, well, let's not take it out. But anyways, I'm getting off task here. Really like this film. If you like my review, go ahead and give me one of these and give me some comments. Let me know again how you felt about the twist and the movie. And if you absolutely think it's a perfect movie, please tell me why. I want to know the justification besides it was great. And until next time, adios.